Collision Radio is backstage with Dave Barnes at Lincoln Hall in Chicago. All right, when you were starting off in the music industry, starting off being an artist, did you know you wanted to do this for a living, or did you have other plans in mind?
No, I mean, I grew up, the writing thing and singing was new to me. I started that in college, and so, yeah, and I was actually going to be a drummer. Okay. And as I sort of continued to drum, I lost sort of interest for that over time, and at the same time, it was a perfect sort of like, as interest in that waned, so grew my songwriting and love for singing and stuff, and so it was sort of a perfect intersection of one was growing as the other was sort of dying off, and so, it was brand new to me. I mean, it started as late as college, so I didn't sing at all until then, and so when I started singing and songwriting, it just sort of took this life of its own. So it was probably when I was honestly like, 19 or 20, something like that.
Okay, now where did you attend school
at? Middle Tennessee State.
Okay, and did you do anything in music while you were there?
I did. I actually majored in it, in drums and percussion. And then about halfway through realized I didn't know what I wanted to do and switched my major to recording industry management, which was like artist management, publishing. Also learned how to produce and stuff like that.
So I think you're the only artist in the entire music industry that actually has a degree in what you do. Like, that's impressive.
Yes, sir.
Like, I mean, do you find that you use
it? That's exactly right. I mean, there are a lot of, I go to school with a lot of people, because, we have Belmont in Nashville, and Belmont's the private sort of version of MTSU. Okay. So there are a lot of people who actually studied what they're doing. Okay. So a lot of very intelligent, well-spoken people who, are working for a publishing company and studied publishing and how to do it, and, copyright law and stuff like that. So it's a really unique situation because the schools around there actually put out a lot of people who, now they're not many entertainers, like they're not, my side, but there's a lot of people in the business world, but it is an anomaly. Like what I do is for sure,
Okay. Now, were you from Tennessee? Were you from Nashville area before that?
No, from Mississippi.
Mississippi, okay.
Yeah.
So moved on up to Nashville and kind of took control there.
Migrated, yeah.
What was your first, your first studio album that you put out? Was it the one that had Until You on it? Or?
No. I've actually got 4 full-length records now. So the very first thing I did was an EP. It was 5 songs I did with Ed Cash, who's done all my records. But it was just me and the guitar. It was 5 songs.
Okay. And did that gain popularity? Is that where you got your name?
It did. It was at the same time that Napster was just killing it. When Napster was at its height, I sort of rode. I wasn't on the wave that like Jason Mraz and sort of Matt Nathanson and John Mayer were on, but I was on the second wave after that. Kind of singer-songwriters, and so I was able to sort of enjoy that curiosity that they sort of that I would say John and Jason and those guys sort of stirred up. It was like, oh, we like these guys, there are more of those, and so we were sort of there, a few of us, on that next one coming in, and people were like, ooh, there's more. So it really helped me, man. That EP was traded around and burned and sold and given, and so I was really blessed and fortunate to be a part of it.
Okay. How do you use promotion before the time of MySpace and Facebook were out there to market yourself? How did you?
That's such a good question. I mean, a lot of it was email lists. That was the big communicators. I had a big, huge email list of stuff, and I would do it that way. So it was good. It was really good. It was like, it wasn't quite, now there's so many ways to do it, which is great, but it's also overwhelming, because it's like, you think of the million ways you can kind of get the word out. It's almost
definitely.
Like, gosh, I have a checklist. But then I just knew, here are the dates, I would email my street team, and then I would email my email list.
Okay.
So it helped a lot.
Okay. All right, cool. Now, the song Until You was a pretty big hit on radio, and it kind of blew up from there. What was that song about? What was that written for?
What's funny is it's a love song, but I didn't write it about my wife because I didn't know her yet. So It's kind of a weird story. Some friends of mine moved to LA, and all that they did is right after they got there, they sent me this picture, and the picture was of one of the brothers and this girl that he was dating at the time. And there was just something about the picture that really affected me. I know that sounds crazy, but I was just like, she was kind of leaning on his shoulder, and he was kind of looking at the camera, and then one of their friends was sitting there with him, and I just thought, these guys sort of left Nashville, moved to LA to pursue this music, and in the meantime, he found this girl that he's like crazy about, and so I just thought it was such a cool story, so that's kind of what it's about, and of course, as a lot of songs happen, as I continued to, date my, now wife, all of a sudden the song took on this whole new meaning,
Okay, so your new song is God Gave Me You, and we've been playing it like crazy down at Shine.fm, and everyone loves it. It's honestly, you play it and like, oh yeah, that's Dave Barnes, I love that song.
That's great.
What was that one written about? Is that about your wife?
That is about her, yeah.
Okay.
And you know, some of our hope is that it's as broad as friends and stuff too. I mean, there's obviously lines in the song that give away the fact that I wrote it about my wife, but you know, I think as any kind of music and lyrically, you can take. That's what I love about songs. Is that it can be one thing to me. I've had so many instances where I write a song for something that I feel like is so specific, and I know what it's about. Just to meet somebody at a show that's like, oh, that reminds me of my dog, and I'm like, wow, it's good to know a song I wrote about my wife reminds you of your pet. But you know, but that's kind of the beauty, because I've had songs like that too from other artists where I take it and I'm like, oh, it reminds me of this thing, and then I hear what it's about, and I'm like, really? Like that's about that? And all of a sudden your view has changed. So I try to be careful about what I give away of songs. So my hope is, you know, it's about community too. It's about friends that God puts in your life and all those things. And so I've said this before, and I think it's true. You know, friends, family, spouses, brothers, sisters, all that stuff. I think they're both like the gasoline and the guardrails in our lives. So it's like they motivate us and they get us going, but they also sort of keep us on the right path. So that's kind of what it's about, you know.
Okay. Any future plans for the record or for touring?
We're still kind of submitting for tours this summer, kind of figuring that out. I've got some creative ideas that'll hopefully bring me back to Chicago. In fact, that's one of the goals for me is to get back here and play this summer. Okay. But yeah, you know, doing that, looks like we're working on a Christmas record this summer, so we're really excited about that. And just touring, man. You know, that's the beauty of a good record, and I hope this is a good record. Is that, you know, you're motivated to get it out to people. You know, so.